very, very personal and very close to her. Okay, something which was actually in one way inseparable to her. Okay, so Madame Sofronie was quite impersonal. She was cold, and she had a very, very pragmatic, very business-like kind of appearance. Okay, though she had a very elegant name, but her appearance was very business-like. Okay, so there is a touch of irony. Okay, so the way she looked, elegant. She had an elegant name. Okay, but when she started dealing with Della, Madame Sofronie was very much business-like, and because of her involvement with business, she had become impersonal. She had become very cold in her temperament. Okay, and when she realized that Della was offering to sell her the hair, she did behave in a sentimental way, or she did not behave in an emotional way, or she did not even comment on anything that would be anything that would be personal, or that would show her shock. Okay, so she was asked a question, and she directly answered that question as if it did not matter. It doesn't matter to her what people are going to sell, or how people are going to sell. Okay, what actually matters to her is the money that is coming out of that dealing. Okay, it could be anything. The person could be selling anything, be it a thing of sentiment, or anything which might be insignificant. Okay, so for Sofronie, what matters is the business dealing and the money that is coming out of it. So this is something which actually stands in stark contrast with how Della was perceiving her situation. For Della, it was something that was her prized possession, but she was going to give it to somebody in return of money, and that somebody is quite different, or that somebody is in one way very, very you can say in terms of her personality, she was quite different from Della. Okay, so on one hand, Della seems to be very, very personal in terms of her association with people, but on the other hand, we see that Miss Sofronie, unlike Della, she seems to be unemotional. She seems to be very business-like. She seems to be very pragmatic. Okay, and she only understands numbers. Okay, means the money. So, coming to paragraph 5, in paragraph 4, we see that she gets $20. Okay, so Madame Sofronie, when she examined the hair of Della professionally, she offered her $20, and Della was quite happy because $20 actually meant a very significant amount, and that was more than 10 times what Della had before. Okay, so Della immediately accepts. So Della did not bargain. Okay, Della did not say anything that would create any kind of argument, or she did not even try to negotiate with any other number. Okay, so she was just happy with the fact that, okay, fine, I am getting the money that I wished for, or at least I'm getting that much money with which I can buy something which I have always wanted to buy for my husband. Okay, so Della immediately accepts. So maybe she had no idea. She was so naive. She was so innocent that it did not even occur in her mind that probably she deserves more. Okay, probably she could, if she had negotiated, she could have been she could have received more money. So she did not even think about that. Her immediate response was the response of happiness, that she immediately accepted, and she did not hesitate once the deal was made. In paragraph 5, okay, come to paragraph 5. Oh, and and the next 2 hours stripped by on rosy wings. Forget the hashed metaphor. She was ransacking the stores for Jim's present. So we see that now Della is filled with joy. She's immensely happy. She's very, very excited. Okay. And at this point, okay, when she felt so hopeful, she just felt that time is now, moving happily. Time is now, time seems to fly happily. Okay. And, this rosy wings, this phrase, rosy wings, is actually a metaphor for the blissful mood of Della. Okay. At this time, Della is very happy, Della is very blissful, and this rosy wings, okay, the metaphor that has been used, the phrase that has been used, it actually stands for the very happy, exuberant, and blissful mood that Della is now enjoying or experiencing. So now the narrator, at this point, he humorously interrupts. Okay, how is he interrupting? He uses that phrase, forget the hashed metaphor. Okay, so now the narrator, he just intervened, he interrupted humorously, and he starts mocking his own flowery expression. Okay, so he says that, okay, now keeping it aside. She was ransacking the stores for Jim's present, and now what is the next thing that Della is doing? Della is searching eagerly and thoroughly through many stores because she is determined to find the perfect gift for Jim. Okay, coming to paragraph 6. She found it at last. It surely had been made for Jim and no one else. So finally, she discovered the ideal gift and something that was really, really, something that really made an impression in her mind that yes, this is the gift that Jim actually deserves. Okay, so this is destined to be gifted this is destined, to be a gift for Jim. There was no other like it in any of the stores, and she had turned all of them inside out. So she had searched everywhere, and the item that she chose, it was unique and perfect. It was a platinum fob chain, simple and chaste in design, properly proclaiming its value by substance alone and not by the meretricious ornamentation, as all good things should do. So she actually bought a chain. Okay, means she was actually, she made a decision that, okay, this chain is something that actually, it made me feel that this should be his ideal gift. So the chain was elegant, it was modest, and it reflected quality through its simplicity, through its elegant. Okay, so the chain was quite simple in its appearance, but in quality, or you can say in terms of quality, it was very, very elegant. It was very graceful. Okay, so the decoration was not an exaggerated decoration. It was not a very flashy kind of decoration, but that chain would complement Jim's character. Okay, so this is what she felt, that if Jim carries it, it will definitely be worthy of Jim's. It will be worthy of Jim's personality, or it will reflect his character. It was even worthy of the watch. As soon as she saw it, she knew that it must be Jim's. It was like him, quietness and value. The description applied to both. Okay, so the chain matches the worth of Jim's very, very cherished gold watch. I told you in my first class on this topic that Jim had a cherished gold watch and it was very, very close to him. So that's why Della felt that this chain would match the worth of Jim's cherished gold watch. So it would be a perfect companion to it. Okay. As soon as she saw it, she knew that it must be Jim's. It was like him. Quietness and value, the description applied to both. Okay. So the chain, just like Jim, according to Della, it was unpretentious because of its simplicity. There was no, flashy decoration. There was no exaggerated decoration. Okay, the ornamentation was very, very, it was very restrained. It was very graceful. It looked very elegant, but it was quite precious. Okay, so Della had an intuition. She intuitively knows that no, this gift, it reflects who Jim is actually. according to her, Jim is thoughtful, Jim is quiet, Jim is very sincere, Jim is dedicated, Jim is dependable. And looking at the watch, she felt that yes, this watch, it might be very, very simple, but actually the grace, the inbuilt grace, the simplicity, okay, everything, makes this watch look very impressive. Okay, the watch looks very thoughtful, very quiet. Okay, and quiet means the that watch actually seems to be a kind of a companion that would be as thoughtful as Jim is. Okay, because of the fact that it looks very elegant, that's why there is a sense of calm, there is a sense of quietness. Okay, and simplicity, sincerity, all these things are something that she she has always found in Jim, and that's why she felt that this watch will be perfect for him. $21 they took. So the chain actually cost what? The chain actually, how much? The chain cost $21. Okay, and she uses the entire amount that she got for her hair, which shows that in terms of showing her love for Jim, or in terms of investing her love for Jim, there is always a complete surrender, complete selflessness, and unconditional love for Jim. Okay. Now coming to the next half. Okay. See. From her for it, and she hurried home with the 87 cents. With that chain on his watch, Jim might be properly anxious about the time in any company. So after buying Jim's gift for $21, with the $20 that she earned from selling her hair, Della is now left with how much? Who will tell me? Della is now left with how much? How much money?
87 cents.
87 cents. Exactly, 87 cents. Very good. So now she is left with only 87 cents. Okay. So now she hurries home because she is very eager to, gift that thing to Jim. Okay. She's very excited how Jim would react. How happy would he get? So she was very, very, excited. And the new chain, the new chain looked so, impressive. It was so graceful that Della was, continuously imagining. She was continuously visualizing how good, Jim would look with that watch. Okay, and with that watch on his wrist, Jim would seem so presentable, so respectable. Okay, and he could now check the time with a sense of pride. So even in front of others, he would stand out. Okay, his presence would stand out. So she was very happy thinking about it. Grand as the watch was, he sometimes looked at it on the sly on account of the old leather strap that he used in place of a chain. So although the watch is valuable, it is sentimental, but she was thinking that Jim would be embarrassed Jim might be embarrassed by the leather strap, because the leather strap was shabby. Okay, so this is what you can say. Actually Jim. Okay, Jim had Jim had a watch actually with that leather strap that Jim means the watch that he had. He always tries to hide it when he's checking the time. So when the watch that Jim has, Jim somehow tries to like hide it, because he feels a kind of shame in showing it. Okay, so here we see that Della is imagining a new kind of a scenario in which Jim would not anymore would not any longer be ashamed of seeing the time on his watch. Now he would be able to like read the time on a new watch that will be that will be really you can say impressive, that would be very showy kind of a thing. Okay, When Della reached home, her intoxication gave way a little to prudence and reason. So, when she reached home, the excitement that she had, means the earlier excitement that she had, it fades. Okay, and now she begins to worry about how Jim will react to her new appearance, because now she does not have hair. Means she has hair, but not that much hair, which Jim was always, fond of. She got up, yes, and went to work. Generosity added to love. So she was trying to fix her appearance and she was trying to style her cropped hair. Okay. And that act of cutting her hair, which was definitely a symbol of, or which was definitely, you can say a kind of an example, okay, or a portrayal of her act of her selfless love, okay, has definitely left her looking very different, and she was anxious. How would he react? He will definitely be, obviously he will be happy to look at the new watch, but how would he react when he would see her new look? Which is always a tremendous task, dear friends, a mammoth task. So here we see that the narrator, again, he's intervening and he's gently mocking the idea of fixing the appearance of a person, means the new appearance of a person when that person has gone through a drastic haircut. Okay, so this woman, okay, though she knew that her haircut or her hair is so loved by her husband, she was so driven by love and the feeling of sacrifice that she did not even think twice. Okay, so it was definitely a very big task, a mammoth task. Okay, a metaphor actually. Mammoth, they earlier existed. So mammoth task means it was a huge task, because number one, you are getting rid of something which is so precious to you, and at the same time you know that your husband loves your hair too. Okay, so keeping all those things in mind, parting from your from your valuable hair, just to buy something for your husband. So it was definitely an act of sacrifice and immense love, but it was actually a huge task. It was a very big decision to make. Within 40 minutes, her head was covered with tiny, close-lying curls that made her look wonderfully like a truant schoolboy. She looked at her reflection in the mirror long, carefully and critically. So she ends up with short, curly hair, okay? And now, at this time, like looking at her, nobody would say that, she's a woman, she's a grown-up woman, okay? She is a graceful woman. Rather, people would, look at her and think of a schoolboy, okay, like those schoolboys who skip classes. They are innocent, but they have a mischievous look. Okay, their hair is disheveled. They have an unkempt, unorganized look. Okay, so she was just looking like a schoolboy. And she was examining herself with anxiety and a kind of, she was looking at her critically, like she was being self-critical about her look. So she was worrying how Jim will react, how Jim will perceive her. Okay, if Jim doesn't kill me, she said to herself, hello, if Jim doesn't kill me, she said to herself, before he takes a second look at me, he will say, I look like a Coney Island chorus girl. But what could I do? Oh, what could I do with $1.87? Okay, so now she's nervous, but she's trying to like humorously deal with that situation. So she's jokingly, she jokes nervously rather, that she might look like a Coney Island chorus girl. Coney Island chorus girl means like those performers who perform on a flashy stage, a very grand stage. Okay, so basically she's suggesting artificiality or exaggerated look or over the top style. Fine, so those performers. Okay, so she's saying that I think I just look like flashy stage performer. So she was being self-critical and self-conscious about that look, and she was trying to justify her action to herself that she had no other option. I did not have any other option. What would I do? So I only had $1.87, and what would I do with that meager amount of money? So it was her love for Jim that left her with no choice. Okay. আচ্ছা, তোমরা শুনতে পাচ্ছো তো? আমার আওয়াজগুলো কাটছে না তো? আচ্ছা, ঠিক আছে, ওকে, আমি কন্টিনিউ করছি। দেখো, at 7 o'clock, the coffee was made and the frying pan was on the back of the stove, hot and ready to cook the chops. Jim was never late. Della doubled the fob chain in her hand and sat on the corner of the table near the door that he always entered. Okay, so Della was preparing dinner. Okay, and she still she was thinking of Jim's comfort. Okay, and she's continuing with her routine lovingly, that okay, this is the thing that I'm going to do, this comforts Jim, it will make him happy. Okay, and then she just one idea comes across her mind, that Jim was never late. Okay, so she knows Jim, she knows his habits well, and that reflects his closeness, their closeness in the relationship. Okay, so she's holding on to the chain very nervously, because that chain has to be like tied up to that tied up to that watch. Okay, so she was clutching the chain nervously, and she was waiting for Jim. She was excited to show it to Jim. She was a little bit anxious as well, because she did not know how would Jim react when he would look at her, okay, when he would find out that her hair had been cut short. Then she heard his step on the stairway down on the first flight, and she turned white for just a moment. She had a habit of saying little silent prayers about the simplest everyday things, and now she whispered, "Please God, make him think I'm still pretty." So when she heard the footsteps, she became pale with nervousness. Okay, she was worried about how he will react. Okay, and just and that moment only, that was a very tender, a very emotional, very sensitive, vulnerable moment, and Della was praying. Okay, not for approval, but but just she was praying to God, that God, please make him think that I'm still pretty. Means I just want to look beautiful in the eyes of Jim. Okay, just make him feel that I'm pretty. I hope he finds me pretty even with the short hair. Okay, I just hope that he does not dislike me, or he doesn't get angry at me. Okay. The door opened and Jim stepped in and closed it. He looked thin and very serious. Poor fellow, he was only 22, and to be burdened with a family. He needed a new overcoat, and he was without gloves. So Jim entered looking very tired and somber, and and now we just come to know, or you can say it is just a kind of observation that reaches the readers, and that says that life has been really hard for both of them, and just by looking at his face, somebody would tell that yes, poverty is actually taking a toll on taking a toll on his mental peace, because he doesn't seem happy. Okay, so the narrator is showing empathy. He's saying that Jim is quite young. He's only 22, and for somebody who is 22 and already bearing the responsibility, performing duties of a family. Okay. It is actually definitely quite burdensome. Okay, and this man, he actually needed a new overcoat, and he was without gloves. Means he needed warm clothes. He did not have warm clothes. Okay, because they are living in impoverished conditions. He did not even have the money to buy adequate warm clothes. Okay. Acha. Then come to paragraph 6. Jim stopped inside the door, as immovable as a setter at the center of square. His eyes were fixed an expression in them that she could not read, and it terrified her. So the door means he just freezed. Okay, he was stunned like a hunting dog that senses a prey. Okay, and that was a moment of intense focus and shock. Is going to hunt down its prey, and it has sensed the prey. In the same way, he also freezed. Okay, there was a moment of silence at that time. So Jim was staring silently at Della. Okay, and he was giving her a very blank look. Means a kind of look that Della was not able to comprehend. She was confused. She was not able to interpret it. So there was a silence. There was a mystery that was increasing her fear. She was afraid. She was thinking if she was afraid, and she started in her mind she was thinking, am I looking so am I looking so terrible that he has not even spoken a word, or he is so shocked to see me. It was not anger, not surprise, not disapproval, not horror, not any of the sentiments that she had been prepared for. So the narrator is now listing a range of emotions. He's saying that not these emotions. He is actually telling us, means the readers, okay, that it's not anger, it's not surprise, it is not disapproval, not horror, or not even all those sentiments that neither she is prepared of nor we are prepared of. Actually, it is something which is deeper. It is something more confusing. And what is it? He simply stared at her fixedly with that peculiar experience or expression on his face. So the suspense is still building up. Okay, Jim's expression is unreadable, and as because he was not saying anything, no, the tension was it was building up. Okay, the tension was actually intensifying in one way for not only her but for the readers as well. Della wriggled off the table and went for him. Jim, darling, she cried, don't look at me that way. I had my hair cut off and sold it because I couldn't have lived through Christmas without giving you a present. So Della approached him nervously, and she was trying to explain. Okay, she had to give a justification. She was trying to explain. And she just blurted out the truth that, oh, Jim, please do not get angry, or do not look at me that way. Okay, do not give me that look. Oh, I had to do this. Okay, I had to, sell it because, if I could not give you a Christmas gift, okay, I would not have, lived through that experience. So she is trying to justify her action. She's saying that my action it actually comes from love and desperation to give you something meaningful. Because if I don't give you something, then I don't think I can survive this Christmas peacefully. It will grow out again. You won't mind, will you? I just had to do it. My hair grows awfully fast. Say Merry Christmas, Jim, and let's be happy. You don't know what a beautiful, nice gift I have got for you. So she's trying to lighten up the moment. She's just trying to, extract at least one word from his mouth. Okay. And she's saying that just lighten. Hello. Just lighten, we need to lighten up the moment. Okay, we need to lighten up the moment because that will somehow give us that will somehow give us that assurance. Okay, she wanted to lighten up the moment. Okay, in one way, as readers, okay, and also as a wife. She will get an assurance, okay, that everything is okay, and O. Henry is also trying to give us that assurance, okay. So she's making plea, she's continuously, requesting him, okay. So that plea was both humorous and it was heartbreaking as well, because definitely, even she had felt bad probably she had also felt bad that she had to sacrifice a lot to make Jim happy, and at the same time it was painfully humorous because she was just trying to lighten up the moment that Jim, it will grow up again. Why are you don't be bothered, okay, don't be angry, don't be bothered, it will grow up again, okay. You don't know what a beautiful, nice gift I have got for you. So she is continuously trying to shift the focus to something else, and she says that Jim, you don't know how priceless, how valuable, and how nice is the gift that I have bought for you. So in one way, she's just trying to make a shift in the focus, shift from his from the she's trying to shift the focus from her head to the gift, okay, and she's also hoping that probably it will cheer him up, okay. Acha, just give me 2 minutes, I'm getting a call. অনেকক্ষণের কল আসছে, just 2 মিনিট আমাকে দাও। হ্যালো, আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে, তাহলে তারপরটা কন্টিনিউ করছি, ওকে। তারপর দেখো, কামিং টু প্যারাগ্রাফ 8, ওকে, নাও বিশাল, আচ্ছা ক্লিয়ার আছে তো, শুনতে পাচ্ছ? আমাকে মাঝে মাঝে বলবে কিন্তু, এখানে নেটওয়ার্কে খুব অসুবিধা হয়।
হ্যাঁ ম্যাম, এখন ক্লিয়ার আছে।
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ, আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে, চলো প্যারাগ্রাফ 8, ওকে। আচ্ছা, you have cut off your hair? asked Jim laboriously, as if he had not arrived at that patent fact yet, even after the hardest mental labor, okay. So এখন জিমের অবস্থা কি, he is still, he's so shocked, and he's still trying to, he's still processing the shock. He's still not able to process the shock, he's still not able to digest it, okay. So we see that sometimes what happens to when you feel utterly shocked by something and you get emotionally overwhelmed, you get so emotionally overwhelmed that your reactions gradually come out, okay. So his slow reaction also shows how emotionally overwhelmed he was, okay. Cut it off and sold it, said Della. Don't you like me just as well anyhow? I'm me without my hair, and I. So Della now, she thinks that she has made she is pleading for assurance, okay. First, she's pleading for reassurance that it will come out, it will grow, it will again, grow. Don't worry. So she is emphasizing upon her identity. Now she's saying that, see, maybe my hair is cut off, but it is not something that I will not be able to grow again. My again, in the days to come, again I will have that big hair, okay, that big length hair. But what has not changed is my identity. Maybe I do not look that way previously, how I used to look. Maybe I used to be, I used to look, I used to look more graceful, or maybe, the way you liked me, I do not look anymore like that. But it doesn't mean that I have changed as a person. My identity is same. My love for you is same. Everything is
you say your hair. Sorry, Jim looked about the room curiously. So now what happens? He is looking around the room. He's distracted. Okay, he feels distracted. Means distractedly, he's looking around. He's still, struggling to recollect his thoughts because he's not able to somehow maybe like collect or arrange his ideas to speak out something. He's so disturbed. Okay, you say your hair is gone, he said with an air almost of idiocy. Okay, so he repeats it in disbelief. Again, he is repeating it in disbelief. He's still not able to, process it. Okay, he's not able to, like digest it. And that actually, creates a moment that was very awkward. Okay, but at the same time, you know it was a very touching moment because that actually shows the utter surprise, the utter shock that she was going through or he was going through. You need not look for it, said Della. It is sold, I tell you, sold and gone too. So now, she again emphasizes upon the fact that it is sold. Okay, it is sold and gone too. That what are you looking for? Do not look here and there, you will not find my hair. Okay, so she reassures him firmly that what is done is done. Okay, right, I have sold it and it is gone. It is Christmas Eve, boy. Be good to me, for it went for you. So she's feeling bad now. Okay, she's feeling bad that she's not getting the uh, proper kind of reaction. So she's saying that, it is Christmas Eve. Please be good to me because I made this selfless sacrifice. I made this loving sacrifice because it was all for you. Okay, so please good to me. Maybe the hairs of my head were numbered. She went on with a sudden serious sweetness, but nobody could ever count my love for you. Shall I put the chops on, Jim? Okay, so here we see that she's saying that, God may count each hair. Okay, we can count our hair. Maybe it will take time, it will be very, very difficult, but at least you can, count. God may count each hair, but her love for Jim cannot be measured. Her love for Jim is uncountable. Means you cannot count it. It's so intense. Okay, it is not about actually quantity actually. So it cannot be counted. Right. So you can count every other thing like God may count each hair, but the love that she has for Jim, it is too great to be measured. Right. This is also quite like a biblical idea. So there is an idea in the Bible that God may count each hair, but her love is too great to be measured. Okay, so this is what in Bible also we have something like that where we say that relationships, love, okay, this kind of thing, right? These abstract notions, they cannot be measured. Love is something which you cannot measure. It is vast. It is a vast sea. Love is just like a vast sea. Okay, our hair can be counted, but not the love that we have for somebody. Shall I put the chops on, Jim? So she's just trying to, return to her normal, life where she always, offers dinner to Jim. So it is a quiet gesture of love and hope, but at the same time, it is also, a gesture of, in one way, a kind of implicit or a kind of, a gesture of hidden pain that whatever I did, it did not go acknowledged. It remained unacknowledged because what I did, he did not reciprocate it in that way. So let us just go back to our normal life. We will have dinner and I will just do or perform all those activities or duties that I always do or every day. Okay, so there is love, there is hope, but at the same time there is also a kind of a hidden pain that he did not reciprocated the way I wanted him to reciprocate. Okay. Out of his trance, Jim seemed quickly to wake. He enfolded his Della. So Jim finally, breaks his silence, okay, and he embraces her, he hugs her, and uh, that was a moment of love. That was a moment of, forgiveness. That was also a moment of appreciation. Okay, so it was a kind of mixed, feeling: love, forgiveness, appreciation. He could not say anything, but he just broke his silence by embracing her. Okay, for 10 seconds, let us regard with discreet scrutiny some inconsequential object in the other direction. So now the narrator again, he intervenes and he humorously tells us to look other way. Means he's saying that just give them some moment. Okay, let us regard with discreet scrutiny. Means let us just look away. Let us just look away. Let us just look at something else, some inconsequential object in the other direction. Let's look at something else. Maybe it could be an insignificant thing. Okay, anything, but just let us give them a moment of privacy, because it is a very, very emotional moment for these two people. Okay, $8 a week or a million a year, what is the difference? A mathematician or a wit would give you the wrong answer. The magi brought valuable gifts, but that was not among them. This dark assertion will be illuminated later on. Okay, so again, there are some words by this man, means O. Henry. Okay, so the speaker says that uh, love, okay, not money. It is love that transcends every barriers. It is love that is, that can surmount every hurdle, that can transcend every hurdle. So whether it is $8 a week or million a year, but that actually does not make a difference if you are truly in love with somebody. So it is love, not money, that is a true measure of value in every relationship, in every life. Okay, so be it logical or clever people, but these people, maybe there are many logical people, there are many clever people, but they might miss the emotional truth that it is always about heart and not the numbers, not the intellect that actually creates a difference in life, that actually makes our life beautiful. Okay, so the narrator now, he foreshadows the final message, that the real wisdom is in their selfless love, not, the gift that they are buying for themselves or for each other, but actually real, wisdom, real happiness actually lies in the love that these two people feel for each other, because this love is unconditional, this love is selfless, right? Okay, and finally, that line which actually you can say that actually means it ends the entire story or sums up the entire story. Jim drew a package from his overcoat pocket and threw it on the table. Okay, so Jim also had bought something for Della, and this gift actually, it was meant for Della, but he threw it on the table. Okay, he threw it on the table, which actually means this moment actually sets up the central irony of the story. Okay, so just after that we will see. Just give me 5 minutes break. Okay, I need to drink some water. Then we are going to proceed. Okay, তারপর কি হচ্ছে না হচ্ছে we will look at it. Just give me 5 minutes. I will resume then.
Don't make any mistake, Dell, he said. About me. I don't think there is anything in the way of a haircut or a shave or a shampoo that could make me like my girl any less. But if you will unwrap that package, you may see why you had me going a while at first. White fingers and nimble tore at the string and paper.
তাহলে দেখো এখানে কি আমরা কি দেখছি যে জিম ইজ at this situation in this situation Jim is reassuring Della that Della, it is not about your appearance. Okay, how can your appearance change my love for you? How can you even think that? Okay, so he's reassuring her about her appearance, that you look beautiful in every way. My unconditional love for you, okay, can never make you look different or unacceptable or inappropriate in my eyes. So I value you as a person, and it is about our connection, it is about our love. Okay, it is never about your looks, right? And then he asks her to open the gift. Okay, so he actually gives us first, this actually hints that her haircut had actually initially confused him. Okay, so when he's asking her to like unwrap the gift or open the gift, it somehow gives us a hint that probably Jim's gift could be related to Della's hair. Okay, fine. And that is why initially he was so surprised, right? So now Della eagerly opens the gift, right? She unwraps the present which Jim has bought, okay, for her, right? At this moment she's very excited, she's very hopeful, right? And the way she was unwrapping the gift, it showed the physical gestures of somebody who would somebody that is a child. Okay, so she had a childlike anticipation on her face. So when you give something to a child and the child is very very excited, very happy, so that childlike anticipation was very well reflected in her physical gestures. Okay, acha, continue koro.
And then an ecstatic scream of joy, and then, alas, a quick feminine change to hysterical tears and wails, necessitating the immediate employment of all the comforting powers of the lord of the flat. For there lay the combs, the set of combs, side and back, that Della had worshipped long in a Broadway window. Beautiful combs, pure tortoise shell with jeweled rims, just the shade to wear in the beautiful vanished hair.
ঠিক আছে, তো এখানে দেখো এখানে কি হচ্ছে যে as she unwrapped the gift, okay, she first screamed with joy, right? She was very happy, she was screaming with joy, but then suddenly she suddenly breaks into crying. She started crying, and that was the moment when Jim started comforting her, right? So there was an emotional twist, because joy, the feeling of joy, turns to sorrow when she realizes that the gift that Jim has actually bought for her, it cannot be used. Okay, and it also shows Jim's role as a comforter. Okay, so Jim is not only a friend, a kind of guardian to her, but he's also a comforter to Della. Okay, and why this kind of response, why this kind of reaction? Because the gift that Jim had actually bought for Della were combs. Okay, because Della had long hair, and he admired Della's long hair, you know, you can say unfathomably. Okay, he was in love with Della's long hair, and he always, visualized how would Della look, combing her hair with her favorite pair of combs. So he had his own, he had his own conception in his mind. He had his own, you can say, thinking about Della. He had his own dreams about Della. Okay, so those combs actually symbolized a long cherished desire and the depth of Jim's thoughtfulness, that Jim had been planning for this maybe for God knows how many months, because Jim, with his little amount of salary, with which they are not even able to make their daily ends meet, that person for God knows how many months have been working so hard and so sincerely, so dedicatedly, so passionately and thoughtfully, maybe you can say extracting money from his salary just to gather a sufficient amount to in order to buy something that she loved. Okay, so it shows that actually this desire was a long cherished desire, and the depth of Jim's thoughtfulness. Okay, so those combs were beautiful, luxurious combs. Those combs were perfect for the hair that Della had. Okay, but now sadly, those hairs means though that hair is now completely gone. It is vanished. That beautiful hair is now vanished. Okay, so see, this is the irony actually in this situation, that the gift that was perfect for Della, even though it was perfect, now it is useless because she has sacrificed that very thing that was meant for that comb, her hair. Okay, and here again another irony is, this girl or this woman had bought I won't be telling that now. Okay, see, they were expensive combs she knew, and her heart had simply craved and yearned over them without the least hope of possession. And now they were hers, but the tresses that should have adorned the coveted adornments were gone. So she had wanted them. She always had wanted them. She had always dreamt about them, but she never expected them, because she always knew that we are not that rich, or we are not that affluent to buy that those combs, those luxurious combs. But now that she owns them, now that she has them, she has no hair to use them. Okay, so see, this is the poignancy of mutual sacrifice. Okay, fine. But she hugged them to her bosom, and at length she was able to look up with dim eyes and a smile and say, "My hair grows so fast, Jim." So she now clings to the comb. Okay, she's clinging to the comb. She's, literally, holding them very close to her heart, and she forces a brave smile. Okay, she forces a very brave smile on her face, though in maybe she's teary eyed, but on her face she's trying to maintain a smile. And just to joke in a very in a very optimistic way, she's just trying to create a kind of humor out of that scenario. And that shows that maybe they are poverty stricken, maybe they are living their life with very minimum amount of money, but even in that situation they have the power of hope and resilience. Okay, she's consoling herself, and she's also trying to keep her mood tender, loving for Jim. She's happy with the fact that Jim thought about her. Jim bought those things for her, and he brought that comb to home so that she could comb her hair. So she was actually very very emotional. She was getting very emotional. She was teary eyed, but even in that situation, she was trying to find some kind of humor, okay, that would help them in that poverty stricken life. And then Della leaped up like a little that a little singed cat and cried, "Oh, oh." She suddenly, actually remembers something. Okay, means after seeing the gift, she also remembered something. Means what actually she remembered? She remembered that yes, she also has a gift for Jim. Okay, so now the action shifts the focus back to her selflessness. Okay, means she is anxious about Jim's reaction, his gift. Okay, and now she is going to, like that moment of mutual revelation is not going to happen. Okay, Jim had not yet seen his beautiful present. She held it out to him eagerly upon her open palm. The dull precious metal seemed to flash with a reflection of her bright and ardent spirit. So Della now shows Jim the chain that she had bought for him. Okay, and the metal, actually, the metal that was very shiny. Okay, it seemed to mirror her own excitement because the metal was also shiny and there was shine on her face as well. Okay, there was a radiant energy on her face. So the chain is actually, less a material object than an embodiment of a love and, devotion. So that chain, it could be a material thing, but you can say it was actually, an embodiment, a symbol of 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 a woman's selfless love, compassion, devotion, sincerity towards her husband. Okay, আচ্ছা, তারপর পড়ো, পড়ো স্বর্ণালী।
হ্যাঁ
হ্যালো।
ম্যাম, হ্যাঁ ম্যাম,
পড়ো।
হ্যাঁ ম্যাম, এখান থেকে তো ইজেন্ট, ম্যাম আমি একটু জল খেতে গেছিলাম, ওই জন্য ইয়ে হয়ে গেছে, মিস হয়ে গেছে।
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ, ওই যে ওখান থেকেই পড়ো, ইজেন্ট আ ড্যান্ডি।
Isn't a dandy, Jim? I hunted all over town to find it. You will have to look at the time 100 times a day now. Give me your watch. I want to see how it looks on it. Instead of obeying, Jim tumbled down on the couch and put his hands under the back of his head and smiled. Dell, said he, let's put our Christmas presents away and keep him a while. They are too nice to use just at present. I sold the watch to get the money to buy your combs, and now suppose you put the chops on.
Okay, so see, here is the situation. After showing that metal chain, okay, so she's very happy and she's proudly describing the chain, and she's saying that isn't it a dandy, Jim? Here, actually, dandy means something which is first class, something which is very very impressive, first class thing, very expensive. Okay, so she's proudly describing the chain, and she's asking for his watch, so that she can attach the watch to that chain. Okay, so that he would not be any longer using that leather strap, because it had become very old. Okay, very unfashionable. So here we see that she is very eager to complete the entire look of the watch. Okay, she's trying to beautify that very very treasured watch that Jim had. So she's trying to show her love, her pure love, her intense love through that gift. Okay, and then we see that Jim does not immediately hand over the watch. Okay, he is being asked that, Jim, give me your watch. I want to, tie the chain to that watch. But Jim is not giving it. Okay, and he reacts very differently. Right? What is his reaction? He's smiling. Okay, but he's very composed. He's very composed, and he's smiling as if he's trying to give a bit thoughtful, philosophical smile. Okay, so there was a calmness, and that was suggesting that maybe he's about to reveal something very significant. Okay, so now the mood shifts to excitement. From excitement, it shifts to tenderness. Okay, calmness. Fine. Then Jim actually tells her that he sold his watch to buy the combs. So those combs, were not could not be bought could not be, maybe those combs were expensive, and those expensive combs, maybe they could not be bought with the little amount of money that he had, and that's why he had to sell his watch that was a treasured watch. Okay, so then we see that very interestingly and very humorously, actually, he says that then I think we should save our gifts for a while. Let us keep our gifts for a while, means keep it away or keep it aside for a while, and you do one thing. You start cooking, or you put the chops on. So this is what I have done. Right. So this is what I have done. So he tells it in with such with such sincerity. Okay, without making a fuss of it, or without without you can say without creating any kind of emotional drama, or without showing any kind of excitement, or without showing any other kind of exaggerated emotion. He just said it very, very simply, and that actually creates an impact, that with a little smile on his face, okay, with a little bit of understanding of the situation, and with also with a tender appreciation of the mutual love that they have. Okay, he tells her that I also sold my watch because I wanted to buy these combs for you. So let's do one thing. Let's keep these gifts, both your combs and this watch aside, this chain aside. Okay. As of now, let's do one thing. Let's concentrate on dinner. Okay. So see, this is the ironic climax of the story, because each has sacrificed their prized possession for the other. Okay. So here we also find the very beautiful moral of the story, that their mutual self-sacrifice is an ultimate proof of their selfless love. Okay. আচ্ছা, তারপর পড়ো।
The Magi, as you know, were wise men, wonderfully wise men, who brought gifts to the babe in the manger. They invented the art of They invented the art of giving Christmas presents. Being wise, their gifts were no doubt wise ones, possibly bearing the privilege of exchange in case of duplication. And here I have lamely related to you the uneventful chronicle of two foolish children in a flat, who most unwisely sacrificed for each other the greatest treasures of their house.
Okay, so see here, the magi, as you know, were wise men. So magi means actually, like the magician, okay, or the biblical wise men. In terms of Bible, you will find that the magi are the biblical wise men, but we also call, suppose some magi as somebody as a great magician. Okay, so the narrator here, he reminds readers who the magi were, means the biblical wise men. Okay, so we see that actually, at this, point, we see that the story's moral, at this time we see that the story's moral has a comparison between Jim and Della and the Magi. Okay, so a very wry comment that the Magi's gifts were sensible and exchangeable if duplicated had been used. So what is the humor actually? Humor here actually is that here we see that practical wisdom has been exchanged with the sentimental, non-practical gifts in the story. Right. So those gifts that were bought for each other, those were sentimental but somehow non-practical, or at this time, were not non-practical, because in one way they were trying to, buy something with all that they had. Okay, but they were somehow, trying to reach out to such a situation or position that was not affordable. Okay, so these two people are mainly, you can say in one way, romanticist. Okay, those romanticists, like those, those non-practical or less pragmatic, romanticists who actually follow sentiment, who actually follow their own, their own feelings or emotions. They pursue their emotions. Okay, so magi are basically those people who are, who will give you, sensible or exchange sensible gifts. But here we see that gift of magi, that particular, phrase has been used in a humorous way, because here we see that in exchange of sentimental non-practical gifts, basically a practical wisdom has been, imparted to these two people. So what is the gift of magi? Basically, the gift of magi to these people is the fact that, in life, the most important thing is love. Okay, and not the material possession. So both of them actually, sought for material possessions, or material things or material possessions for each other. But eventually, what comes across is the love. Okay, so love is the greatest gift, and not the chain, or not the comb. So that is actually the gift of magi. So here we see that the two characters, Jim and Della, eventually realizes that, their love for each other is the greatest gift for Christmas Eve, and not what they had actually bought, or what they had actually bought by sacrificing, things that they had, or by selling those things that they actually, treasured for such a long time. So basically, those gifts were those Christmas gifts that they had visualized. Those were just materialistic things. But what actually, they realize at the end is that nothing can transcend love. There is no great gift, okay, than love for each other, or the beauty of a relationship that these two people shared. And here I have lamely related to you the uneventful chronicle of two foolish children in a flat who most unwisely sacrificed for each other the greatest treasures of their house. So, এখানে narrator কি বলছে যে Jim and Della are foolish. Why? Because they made impractical sacrifices. They actually sold the greatest treasures of their house. One was the watch, another was Della's head. Because, they actually did it for what? For just to make each other happy. They, more than their love, more than the greatest treasures of their house, they were mainly, they were mainly looking for those things which are materialistic. Okay. So here we see that O. Henry actually maintains an ironic tone, because he says that what looks foolish materially is actually noble emotionally. Okay, so here we see that the narrator actually is setting up a moral judgment. Okay, so these two people felt that those greatest these two people felt that what they are looking for, or what they have to give each other, there can't be anything more than that. But eventually they realize that after selling the greatest treasures of their house, they are not able to they are not able to make use of the things that eventually follow, means, or those things which are actually bought after selling the greatest treasures of their house. So eventually they are left with what? They are only left with the mutual appreciation of love. Okay, so these two foolish people. Okay, means these two foolish people, foolish children, they are in a flat. Okay, it is the chronicle of two foolish children in a flat who just sacrificed, who made sacrifices unwisely. They did not take a wise decision. Okay, while making a sacrifice with such reckless decision, they actually you can say they actually lost the greatest treasures of their house. Okay. But in a last word to the wise of these days, let it be said that of all who give gifts, these two were the wisest. Okay, now the narrator again reverses the course. Okay, on one hand, he says that these two people, okay, are unwise according to those people, okay, who who cherish the greatest treasures, who are cherishing the greatest treasures of their house. One was Della's hair, another was the watch. But on other hand, there might be some people, okay, there might be such people who would realize that through that there is that in giving something to somebody, there is true wisdom. Okay. In that list, Jim and Della top. Okay, they actually top that list because Jim and Della, if people who are loving and giving by nature, if they look at Jim and Della, they would say that these two people are very wise because they believe in giving. But those people who actually, look at material objects with a very, you can say noble eye, they will find this emotional people as fools. Okay, so there will be two kinds of people. Some would say that true wisdom is actually measured by selfless love, not tactical advantage, and some people would say that no, these two people are foolish because they actually have let go the very treasured, the very treasured, valuable possessions of their house. So there will be two kinds of people. For some people, these two children will be foolish children, and for some people, these two foolish children will be very wise people because they know the value of giving and loving and sacrificing. Okay. Of all who give and receive gifts, such as they are wisest, everywhere they are wisest, they are the magi. Now the narrator crowns them as the modern magi. He says that these two people are the modern, magi. These two people are the wisest gift givers. Okay. Why? Because according to O. Henry and according to you can say according to Bible or according to the stories on ethics, okay, or the other moral stories, what is the most important or what is the highest wisdom in life? That is the selfless, the sacrificial love that you feel for somebody, and when you are giving something, okay, means when you are giving a present or a gift to somebody with selfless sacrificial love. Okay, and for that, even if you have to sacrifice your most treasured possession, even in that situation you will be spiritually rich and truly wise. So Jim and Della are actually the two wisest gift givers. They are the wisest, they are the modern magi. So one, Della is the magi for Jim and Jim is the magi for Della. Okay, so there will be people like there will be some people who would find that Jim and Della are completely foolish. Okay, and some people would say that no, they are spiritually rich, they are truly wise, and that's why they are the modern magi, because they know the act of loving somebody and giving somebody or giving anything to the person they love with selflessness, with sacrificial love, and that is the highest wisdom. So that person who has the highest wisdom is actually the magi. Okay, so in Bible we have those magi, means those wise men. Okay, and those wise men used to bring gifts for other people. And here we see that these two people are also, they are also magi because they know the value of love. And those people who know the value of love, they are the wisest. So this is what O. Henry has to say. ঠিক আছে, তোমাদের গল্পটা বুঝতে পেরেছো তোমরা, শর্ট স্টোরিটা?
হ্যাঁ ম্যাম।
আচ্ছা, তাহলে শোনো, বলছি যে কাল বা পরশু আমি আবার ক্লাস নেব। হ্যাঁ, লেগুনটা আমরা করবো, যখন শর্ট স্টোরি স্টার্ট করেছি শর্ট স্টোরি একবারে শেষ করে দিই। তো এটা হয়ে গেল, দেন লেগুন। ওকে, লেগুনটা, লেগুন পড়ানো হবে। আর দেখি যদি কালকে আমি নিতে পারি আমি জানিয়ে দেবো। ওকে, কালকে বিকেল বেলা তাহলে আমি এরকম টাইমে আমি ক্লাস নিয়ে নেব। আর যদি দেখি ওয়েদারটা খুব খারাপ আছে, দেন আমি পরশু দিনও নিতে পারি। তো এই এটা শেষ হয়ে গেল, দেন উই উইল গো টু লাগুন। ওকে, সো লাগুন টেক্সটটা আমরা নেক্সট ডে করব। ঠিক আছে, তাহলে থ্যাংক ইউ ক্লাস।
Okay.
वीडियो बहुत तेजी से वायरल हो रहा है, जिसमें एक टीवी की एक्ट्रेस है गौतमी कपूर। वो ये क्या